my name is Lindsay Davies. I work at the University of Georgia and I help to coordinate the Journeyman Farmer Certificate Program. So a little bit background about the program. It's been funded through a USDA Beginning Farmer Rancher Development Grant, and this grant is coming to an end. And so during the grant we've had money, resources, and staff in place in order to run this program, but now that the grant is ending, we won't have necessarily all those resources available, so a lot of the coordination of the program will come to the county agents who are running the program. However, we are tweaking the way that we require the agents to run the program in an effort to accommodate this end of the grant. So basically I want to talk a little bit about what the Journeyman Farmer program involves. There are 3 steps to the program, and originally as part of the grant we required all the agents to run all 3 steps. But now that the grant is over, we're sort of letting agents choose what portions of the program they want to offer. So you're not required to run all 3 steps. The first step is a business training, a small farm business training, which is curriculum created by for the Journeyman Farmer program, or an Ag-Aware training. This is done by Ag Georgia or Ag South, and it's a 1-day training for beginning farmers. Step 2 is production training, small fruit and vegetable or small ruminant production, and step 3 is a hands-on internship or mentorship. So like I mentioned, you don't need to offer all 3 of these steps anymore. If you just want to offer a business training, you're welcome to do that. Or if you just want to offer a production training, you're welcome to do that as well. Or you can offer step 1 and 2. Step 3 is a little bit different and will require more time and energy on part of the county agents, because you will be the ones totally coordinating that portion of the program. So I made another video explaining that, so please check that video out for more details about that. A big thing to stress to participants is even though you may not be offering all 3 steps of the program, they still get certificates after each step. Those who do all 3 steps will be the full graduates, but they'll get a certificate if they do step 1 and a certificate if they do step 2. Another note I want to mention to the agents, so as you are looking through this curriculum, we do welcome you to use the curriculum for other programs that you might be running. So we'll talk about the curriculum more in depth, but there's webinars and learning activities, and so if you would like to use that for another class or workshop you are using, you're more than welcome to do that now as well. So now that we have a little bit of background, this video will focus on steps 1 and 2 of the program, so the classroom sessions, the business training, and the production training, and basically walk through what you should do before, during, and after your program, and I'll give a lot of tips for running a great program. So really a lot of the legwork comes before your program runs, and so I'll walk through different things that you should be thinking about before you run the program, and this can also help you decide whether you want to run this program or not. So the first step would be deciding what portions of the program you want to run. And I think really the best way to do that is to log on to the Urban Ag website and look at all the curriculum that's available. So you click on the agents link, and then programs, and then Journeyman Farmer. And it is password protected. The password is Bulldog. And so once you get on there, you'll see all the curriculum that's ready to go. There are pre-recorded webinars on different topics for each of the sessions, and there's also learning activities for each of the sessions. There's a facilitator notebook, which you should definitely read through. It basically walks you through how to run each session and what you need to do. Participants also will get a notebook. You'll print that off before their first class, and that has all the PowerPoints in it, all the resources for the program for them. So I'm going to dive in and talk a little bit about each of the different parts of the program. So the small farm business training, this curriculum was created for the Journeyman program, and there's 4 sessions, each are 2 hours of material, and each of the sessions for any of the classroom sessions are 2 hours. So I'd recommend you allocate 2.5 hours for each session. People have a lot of questions, there's a lot of discussion. Also, people prefer to be let out a little bit early as opposed to going over the allotted time. So for small farm business training, you should collaborate with the Small Business Development Center, and this will count as a collaboration for your dossier. And what you should do is call up the nearest SBDC office and tell one of the agents there about the program and that you're wanting to run the program. And what you need is to meet with the agent, go over the curriculum, and you decide who's going to be running what portion of the curriculum for each session. So they're going to come to each session and help you run the program. We found this to be a really great partnership because having SBDC person there will help answer the business questions from folks, and then the county agents there, they bring their agricultural expertise and they're able to answer those questions. So having both there at the session really makes for a great partnership. But again, you'll have to work beforehand in order to collaborate with one of the SBDC agents to make sure they're on board, and you guys will need to decide who will be running what portions of the program. Session 3 of the Small Farm Business Training involves a farmer's perspective, so we ask that you bring in a farmer from your community to come in and talk about their business plan, their record keeping, any sort of business related aspects of their farming. People really love this aspect of the program, so try to include that as you're able. So AgAware is the other option you could run for business training, and this is run by Ag Georgia or Ag South, and what they'll do is they'll run the program. It's a one-day training and they will teach it. And so what you'll need to do is look on their website at their calendar, see where they're offering the trainings. If there's one near you, you can contact them and let them know what you're doing and ask if their class can be counted as part of your journeyman training. If there isn't one running near you, you'll need to contact Van McCall, and he can come and run the program and run the AgAware curriculum. But you'll need to coordinate with him about doing that portion of it, and there will be a cost for that. You'll need to talk with Van about that. So for the production training, there's the fruit and vegetable production. Again, this is 2 hours each for each session, and there's 7 sessions. So again, I would recommend 2.5 hours for each of those sessions. And you are welcome to run multiple sessions in one day. I wouldn't recommend doing more than 2 in one day, because that's a lot of information to cover. Session 5 of fruit and vegetable production is going on farm visits, so you can organize trips to farms nearby you. Try to find one that's smaller and one that's medium-sized. And again, people really love this portion of the program, getting out, talking to a farmer, seeing the farm. It's always, on the evaluations, everyone's favorite part of the fruit and vegetable training. For small ruminant production, there's 6 sessions, 2 hours each. Again, I would allocate 2.5 hours when you tell people the times of the classes for each session. And session 6 of this one is FAMACHA training with live animals, so you'll need to collaborate with a FAMACHA trainer, get them there for that session, get live animals there. But again, this is really people's favorite part of the program as well. And then you also need to decide if you want to do the hands-on training. So watch that other video that I made that will give you more details about that part of the program. So the next step is finding a group of agents to help you run the program. So we found this is a great way to include other counties in with what you're doing, and it's also great to have several different agents there for each of the sessions to answer questions from participants, because you each bring different knowledge to the table. Also, if you're not able to make it to every single session, then other agents will be there to help you out with the scheduling of it. So you guys would have to meet as a group or a conference call, go through the curriculum, decide who's going to be moderating each session and who's going to be leading each learning activity. And you can each decide based on your knowledge of the different topics. As a group, you should also decide on what dates you're going to be offering the training. I would highly recommend running the program in the winter. January through March was when we saw the highest enrollment rates in their classes. This is when folks really aren't doing that much at their farm sites, so it's a great time to run the training. Also, most folks coming to this are working full-time, and maybe they're hoping to to switch to farming eventually or want to learn more about farming, but evenings and weekends is the best time that we've found to run the program as well. I'd recommend you do some sort of online sign up if that's easy for you to do. I can give you the contact info at the end for Beth Horn. She's at the Center for Urban Ag and she can help set up an online sign up for participants. You'll also need to decide on a registration fee for the class. So you're going to need to get participant notebooks printed, so you'll need to charge enough to cover that. Also, a lot of agents would provide a meal or snacks for participants, so take that into consideration. Also, any other costs you may have, like FAMACHA cards, so take that into account. Also consider your participants' income levels when you make this registration fee. So next step would be choosing the right location. You need to have some sort of classroom space to host between 20 and 50 people. The small farm business training and the production trainings usually had between 20 and 40 people. So make sure you have space enough for that. If you're doing ag-aware, that usually is a larger crowd, sometimes up to 50 people. Make sure you have internet connection, projector, and a screen, because you'll be showing the webinars and then some of the learning activities involve going online to different websites. I'd also recommend you download these webinars before your program runs from the Urban Ag website. Alright, after you've sort of know what programs you're offering, you need to dive in and really learn this curriculum. So this is a great program, because we have all the curriculum laid out and ready to use online. But you really still need to dive in and you need to learn the curriculum, learn the topics, read the facilitator notebook, go over the learning activities, watch the webinars, make sure you're familiar with the concepts that are being taught. Please don't go into this in front of the class without looking over these things before your class runs. Again, this is your program, so really the success of it depends on how well you're prepping for it. So you're going to begin promoting to people in your area. Really, beginning farmers are the ones that benefit the most from this training. We've had more experienced farmers come into the classes and they found it to be too basic for their knowledge. So those with 0 to 5 years experience tend to benefit the most. I'd recommend you create some sort of flyer. Please put on there the cost, the location, the dates, any other info, an online sign-up link, and get that out to your local community and the surrounding counties as well. Posting on Facebook and the newspaper, listservs, UGA Extension, calendar, all great places to advertise. Again, online sign-up is available with the Center for Urban Ag. Strongly recommend you check that out. It's a great way for folks to sign up online. And they can pay online using that link. Alright, please make sure you have some sort of sign-in sheet at the first session and that you're registering and tracking participants. So you'll need their contact info to send out the certificates after the program is over. So about 1 week before your training starts, you should get the participant notebooks printed. By then you should know how many folks are coming to the class. Please print in black and white, they don't need to be in color. You should download videos or other resources that you'll need from the internet beforehand, and also make sure everything's organized, all the food, the farm tours, the FAMACHA trainer, and your other agents as well. So I'm going to shift gears and talk about what to do during your program, while your program is running. So first of all, at your first class, I would highly recommend you introduce folks to what the Journeyman program is and what portions of the program you're going to be offering. So every county who runs it now is going to be doing it differently. So please make it clear to them what you are going to be offering. If you're only offering small ruminant production trainings, that's fine, but just make sure people know that. You don't want people coming up to you after the last class and saying, oh, now I want to sign up for an internship, when is that going to be offered? No, you need to tell them beforehand what steps you are going to be offering. Also let them know they don't need to do all the steps if you're offering all of them. They can come for just one portion of the program or another. I'd recommend, also make sure participants know about the certificates. So they'll get a certificate after completing the program and taking a knowledge evaluation. So this knowledge evaluation is online, and you'll give them the links at the last day of class, and they'll have 2 weeks to take it. And they can take it multiple times. Basically it's a test basically testing them over what they've learned in the class. And so it's not that hard, but they can take it multiple times and they need a 70% to pass. So after that, the Sustainable Ag Program Assistant will compile those scores and get them to you, and then you'll send out certificates to people. If you're doing the hands-on program, make sure you're upfront with folks about what that program will look like and the details of that as well, and give that out at the first class that you're offering, so at your business training. So also during the program, or while the program is running, you're going to be moderating and coordinating. So basically making sure everything's running smoothly, make sure conversation doesn't get too intense or take too long that you run over the allotted time. Make sure to facilitate discussion with the participants over the topic material, answer questions. Don't let one person hijack the conversation. And again, coordinating any food and the payments for the program as well. So after your program ends, so at the last session you're going to hand out the knowledge evaluation links, which are available on the Urban Ag website for each of the business training and production training. And then you'll hand out any sort of evaluations that you want them to complete for your own records. And then you're going to send the sign-in info to the Sustainable Ag Program Assistant. She'll be the one keeping all of those records for us as we move forward. So a little bit more about the Sustainable Ag Program Assistant. She will be available for you if you have questions about the curriculum. She'll also be there to compile the knowledge evaluation scores, get those back to you. Make sure you keep her in the loop about your dates and send her a flyer. She can do some advertising for you on our Facebook page. And also she'll post the dates for your training on the Sustainable Ag webpage as well. So keep her in the loop. And a big reminder, she's here to assist with your program. This is really your program, so she's not going to run it for you. So here's some useful contact information. If you're wanting to run the small farm business training, you'll need to collaborate with the SBDC folks, so look up the closest office and get in contact with them as soon as you know you want to run that. Our UGA Sustainable Ag Program Assistant, her name's Emily Cabrera. Here's her email and phone number. If you're wanting to run AgAware training, you can contact Van McCall for more information about that. And if you want online business or online sign up, contact Beth Horn at the Center for Urban Ag.